The 1992 Winter Olympics, coming this February to Channel 6.
The U.S. economy heads into 1992 under the cloud of recession. In Moscow, fear amid the fireworks as the Russian Republic faces a tough new year. And a look back at the incredible year gone by. This is the CBS Evening News. Good evening. I'm Connie Chung, sitting in tonight for Dan Rather. The United States is ending the year with a recession and new signs that the slowdown will continue next year. The stock market shrugged off the bad news today. As Bob Fall reports, the market finished the year with a bang and a clang.
Amidst a shower of confetti, Wall Street today bid 1991 a fond farewell. The stock market climbed almost 5 points to another record high. But figures released today show that for the fourth straight month in America's factories and showrooms, the economy was stagnant. The government's leading economic indicators down 0.3% in November, the sharpest drop in 10 months.
The decline in the leading indicators shows the economy is entering 1992 on a weak note. We're probably still in the recession that began nearly a year and a half ago.
7 of the 11 November indicators were negative. The number of people applying for unemployment benefits went up. Construction activity slowed, and new orders for consumer goods fell. You can measure all those, but the biggest plunge was in something you couldn't see, consumer confidence. In November, it fell to its lowest level since 1981. Still, some economists think the November figures suggest the recession has bottomed out.
Since that reading was taken, several of the components have turned positive, such as stock prices, such as consumer expectations, and the money supply.
Because of that, and because another government report today shows that home sales in November held their own, the plunge in the November index does not alarm everyone.
We have to wait until we see a longer-term trend in that index. If it declines 3 or 4 tenths in December, and then again in January and in February, then I will start worrying, but not until then.
Still, many economists suspect the celebration today on Wall Street was premature, and that what the November index suggests is that it will be months before the economy is robust again. Bob Fall, CBS News, New York.
A sharp reminder today of sluggish retail sales for the Christmas just passed. The country's biggest jewelry retailer lost a lot of its sparkle. Now, as James Hattori reports, it's losing a lot of its stores.
Christmas markdowns didn't do the trick for the nation's largest jewelry chain. The Zale Corporation has announced it will close 400 stores, 1/5 of its operations, in an effort to stay alive. The company calls it a reorganization. Customers call it an omen.
It's just not a good sign. So, especially a company as large as Zale, it's been around as long as they've been. It's kind of disheartening.
200 employees from Zale's Dallas headquarters will be laid off, the latest victims of the long recession.
We've never had such an extensive downturn in retail in our lifetime here at Zales, and that's what's caused us to get into this situation.
But it isn't just the recession. Zales is burdened with $1 billion worth of debt from acquisitions in years when profits were healthy. Today, the company says it will miss a $52 million interest payment to the owners of those junk bonds, who could now force the chain into bankruptcy.
It may be, in some cases, better just to stop the bleeding right now, sell off the assets and go out of business. That's a decision that the bondholders have to make.
The conservative decisions consumers are making aren't helping Zales bounce back.
They're thinking about it more, not as many quick expenditures. If you don't have it, you don't buy the luxury items.
It's going to be a leaner new year for me if the economy continues like it is now.
A leaner new year, too, for those trying to sell luxury in a lackluster market. James Hattori, CBS News, Dallas.
It's a gloomy and threatening new year in the former Soviet Union. In the Republic of Georgia, rebels and pro-government forces are bringing in heavy weapons for a military showdown. In Russia, the worst fighting has been among desperate shoppers trying to stock up before price controls are lifted. Correspondent Tom Fenton is in Moscow.
Russians on Red Square watched without regret as one of the most tumultuous years in their history went out and braced themselves for the unknown of 1992. A soldier says life will be better. It's risky to make predictions, this man says. I won't do it. The guard was still being mounted at Lenin's tomb, but the creed and country he founded are gone. The Russian flag now flies over the Kremlin, and this land no longer looks like the workers' paradise conceived by Lenin. Earlier today on Red Square, a homeless woman was begging for charity for herself and her baby. People looked shocked and gave. She thanked them. Let God send his blessing in 1992 to the Soviet Union, she says, so that people here can live like people in the West. Right now, Russians are living in limbo, still earning communist wages, but about to be subjected to capitalist prices. No one knows how much a bag of groceries will cost on Thursday when the government ends a 70-year price freeze. A war veteran waited in line for the last of the cheap state-supplied goods until he exploded with anger. I can't find anything, he says, not even sausage. What did I fight for? What did we take Berlin for? Patience was the one thing the Russians hadn't run out of yet. Now, even that is in short supply.
Make any prediction you want about this country, and you could be right. Food riots, another coup, but it's also possible that Russia's problems could be cured by the economic shock therapy about to be administered. That's the hope for 1992. Tom Fenton, CBS News, Moscow.
Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, primary battles. Why Patrick Buchanan and David Duke are having trouble getting on ballots. And from California, the politically correct Rose Bowl parade.
If you don't get to sleep, I won't get to sleep.
Nitol safely helps you fall asleep fast so you can get your Z's. Nitol or a maximum strength Nitol.
Nitol will help you get your Z's.
Campbell's heard your healthy request.
Low fat.
Less salt.
But lots of taste.
Here's our answer. New Campbell's Healthy Request ready-to-serve soups. All the great taste you want without some things you don't. New Campbell's Healthy Request. Good. And healthy.
You can be a millionaire 10 times over just weeks from now. Your dreams can come true, too. Brumbelow's got great cars. Hamlin's their dream house. Knutson's a ranch. Robert, early retirement. Now, your dream. $10 million next month if you return the winning number in time. American Family, the only sweepstakes with my picture. You may have the winning number right now. So look for my picture and enter fast.
If it seems noisier out there this New Year's Eve, it could be the nearly 3 million people added to the U.S. population this year. The Census Bureau estimates that as 1992 begins, the population stands at more than 253.5 million. 1991 is already over down under in Australia, the first stop for President Bush on his way to Asia. The president was out late New Year's Eve in Sydney, taking in a fireworks display. Some political fireworks back home, the charge that the Bush campaign is behind new moves to block two candidates challenging the president for the Republican nomination. Eric Ingberg has our report on that.
Look this way, Mr. Buchanan. Patrick Buchanan and David Duke are finding their biggest problem right now is not beating President Bush, but getting their names on the ballot. In several early primary states, a Republican establishment firmly in White House hands has manipulated party rules to keep them off the ballot. Case in point, Rhode Island, where GOP officials ruled that Duke and Buchanan were not legitimate candidates.
I have to believe Mr. Bush's agents are behind this, encouraging this, and washing their hands of the whole affair.
The head of the Republican National Committee, the RNC, says it's just that the rules are, well, complex, and that the Duke and Buchanan staffs so, well, inexperienced.
There is no Bush policy, RNC policy, of keeping competitors of Mr. Bush off the ballots.
That is absolutely correct.
Now, it's just happening spontaneously in Georgia, in South Dakota, in Rhode Island.
Well, it's happening in accordance with the party rules or state law or some combination of the two.
It took the Democrats, of all people, to force Buchanan's name onto the ballot in Rhode Island, a state they run. Duke is still out, but could be forced on by a petition which many people are signing on the grounds of old-fashioned fairness.
I think anyone should have the right to be elected. It doesn't mean he's going to get elected, but anyone has the right to try to get elected in this country. This is a free society.
In Georgia, where Duke could embarrass the president, the GOP has barred him from the ballot. Some GOP insiders believe this exclusion strategy is already backfiring.
I've had numbers of people, they're just irate because the Republican Party is trying to keep David Duke off. And even a lot of the folks that don't support David Duke think that he's getting a raw deal.
The rules, different in every state and layered together by battalions of lawyers, work to the advantage of someone who's been playing the game for a long time. And the Bush administration has already shown that it knows only one way to play the game. It's called hardball. Eric Engberg, CBS News, the White House.
Stay with us for more CBS News, including a reprise of the old year with musical help from the young generation.
Nighttime, one of the worst times for pain. Pain that's hard to face alone. That's why you need new Ultra Strength Bengay. It's the strongest Bengay ever for muscle pain that's hard to ignore. Minor arthritis pain, back pain, pain that seems worse at night. New Ultra Strength Bengay with added power and a third pain reliever. Deep, penetrating warmth for fast, long-lasting relief. You can say goodnight to your pain with new Ultra Strength Bengay.
Ladies, now you can look years younger in minutes by having lines, wrinkles, and puffiness seem to disappear with sudden change. In just minutes, see the years smoothed away. Not a miracle, not trick photography, it's sudden change. You'll look years younger in minutes.
It's Sears' biggest fitness sale. Walk, jog, or run with this 1.25 horsepower Lifestyler treadmill with auto incline and save big. Introductory price, just $499.99. Hurry, offer ends soon at Sears.
Eggnog, mashed potatoes and gravy, Santa cookies, Aunt Wilma's bundt cake.
The average American
turkey
can gain 4 to 7 pounds during the holidays,
candy canes,
and you're probably one of them.
sweet potatoes,
So include the Kellogg's Special K breakfast in your New Year's diet
dip,
and get the scale moving in the right direction.
fruitcake, fruitcake, fruitcake.
Kellogg's Special K. Lose the holiday fat.
Ladies, would you date this man if he said he was a pro athlete? 100 women did. What else did he want? 48 Hours knows Wednesday.
A warning tonight for people who drink after taking antacids. Researchers say the two most widely prescribed antacids, Zantac and Tagamet, may increase the body's absorption of alcohol. As a result, fewer drinks than usual may cause impairment and make you legally drunk. Now from around the world, more CBS News. In the Korean demilitarized zone, North and South Korea reached tentative agreement today on a treaty to ban nuclear weapons, but they put off the key issues of inspection and enforcement. In Yugoslavia, government warplanes blasted Croatian cities again today. United Nations mediator Cyrus Vance says the Serb-dominated federal government has now agreed to a plan to send UN peacekeepers to Croatia. But Vance says the plan will not be implemented until fighting stops. In Australia, a parachuting stunt nearly turned into tragedy when 4 jumpers got tangled in each other's lines. 3 managed to free themselves, one by deploying his emergency chute. That left one jumper with lines from 2 chutes wrapped around his neck. He used a knife to cut one parachute free, then struggled with the remaining lines, finally breaking loose and deploying his emergency chute just a few feet above the ground. Incredible. Clear skies are expected tomorrow for the 1992 Rose Parade in Pasadena, California. The political climate may be something else again. David Dow reports why the latest Rose Parade is so thorny.
For most of its 103 years, the Rose Parade has rolled serenely through Pasadena's streets. But the road to tomorrow's parade has been paved with what organizers dread most, political controversy.
This is not a political thing and never has been, never should be. It's a fun activity.
Tell that to the Native Americans who are enraged by the nominee for Parade Grand Marshal, Cristobal Colon, a direct descendant of Christopher Columbus, whom they say was more exploiter than explorer. Parade officials addressed that controversy by naming 2 grand marshals, Colon and a Cheyenne Indian, the only Native American in Congress.
Co-grand marshals is proper. I think that's a proper way to give equal stature, equal recognition to the original inhabitants of the land.
Some Indian groups still plan protests, but the extra security to deal with protesters almost evaporated when Pasadena councilmen alleged that some Los Angeles sheriff's deputies were neo-Nazis.
Unless the men and women of this department receive an unqualified apology for the remarks made, no member of this department will be involved in their traditional role of providing security.
The council apologized. Then feminists found an issue. The all-male selection committee for this year's Rose Queen.
It seems appalling to us that they have no females who sit on the board judging them.
Parade officials hope all this is behind them now. And as early spectators arrived today, organizers were wishing for a happy and politically correct New Year. David Dow, CBS News, Pasadena.
I can't believe it. Think about your daydreams and what you would do if you won $1 million out of the blue. Miracles can happen for you. Publishers Clearinghouse, the house where dreams come true.
Extra Strength Malox Plus, the strongest antacid there is, now comes in tablets. New Extra Strength Malox Plus tablets. Malox Strength is stronger than Tums. Malox Strength is stronger than Rolaids.
Extra Strength Malox Plus tablets. It's the strongest. My stomach tells me it's fast.
Extra Strength Malox Plus, now in minty tablets. It's the strongest. And your stomach will tell you it's fast. Look for the coupons in Sunday's paper.
Remember when cats sang for Meow Mix?
Meow, 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 meow.
Well, now there's an all-new Meow Mix. With flavors cats prefer 3-to-1. If cats sang for the old Meow Mix, what'll they do now? All new Meow Mix. Tastes so good, cats ask for it by name. Meow. To say the least.
From CBS This Morning, Happy New Year.
Well, all that's left now is 1991. Of 1991 is a few precious hours and a lot of incredible memories. This was the year America went to war and the Soviet Union went out of business. So before we ring in the new, let's bring out the old for a final curtain call. Here then is one last look at 1991, produced and edited by Warren Lustig and Mara Altschuler. For our annual year in review, we went to UCLA, where some very talented young people composed their own original symphonic impressions of 1991. Much of the music you'll hear is from these young composers and performed by the UCLA Wind Ensemble, conducted by Dr. Thomas Lee.
Saddam has sickened the world.
Desert Storm.
It is a high-tech lynching.
This recession.
William Kennedy Smith.
HIV virus.
Stay here. I'll be back.
The Yugoslav National Army made it clear it intends to crush all resistance.
A military coup in Haiti has sent thousands fleeing for protection. After 40 years, Arabs and Israelis sat down to talk peace.
I did nothing wrong, yet I'm being made to suffer like this. My life has been taken away.
I'm trying to battle for my life.
If Magic Johnson could get it, now I know everybody could get it.
This is the kind of nightmare fire Californians have come to worry about.
My God, I've never seen anything like that!
It is the worst mass shooting in U.S. history.
There is still underlying tension between the people and the police.
Go back! Get back!
America's battle over abortion.
This is America's second civil war. Our objectives are clear. Saddam Hussein's forces will leave Kuwait, and Kuwait will once again be free. The world could wait no longer.
Fire! Launch! Go! Go! Go!
The liberation of Kuwait has begun.
We will not fail.
Baghdad just looked like a 4th of July party. You know, fireworks going off.
We are hurting Saddam Hussein across the board.
We're going to continue to attack and attack and attack.
There has been a Scud missile attack.
Thank God for the Patriot missile.
We tried to give them some good advice a few months ago. We told them, move it or lose it. They wouldn't move it. Now they're going to lose it.
The economy is in deep trouble.
It's hitting everyone.
News about business and jobs is not good. I lost my job.
You're going to fill these 2 forms out. You're going to drop it off in the black box.
You're always running scared.
You're going to have a seat. You're going to wait for someone to call you.
Of course I worry about it.
Good job.
That's no way to run a country.
It's time for them to go.
My friends,
Are you ready for a president in our hearts
That will inspire the world.
No kidding.
A coup in the Kremlin. Mikhail Gorbachev is out. Muscovites are defending their revolution, while the Kremlin and its empire falls apart.
Hurricane Bob carried wind gusts of more than 130 miles an hour.
Well, Pinatubo may literally blow itself apart.
Wow!
We will not rest until all are freed and there is justice and peace.
Warren Lustig and Mara Altshuler put that together. That's 1991, and that's our news. I'm Connie Chung, sitting in for Dan Rather. I'll see you again tomorrow night. Thank you for joining us, and for all of us at CBS News, good night and Happy New Year.
It seems that every time you turn around these days, another pain reliever with ibuprofen in it is comparing itself to Tylenol. But you know what they can't say? They can't say they're gentler than Tylenol, because they're not. Tylenol won't irritate your stomach the way ibuprofen sometimes can. That's a medical fact. And is it any wonder that today hospitals use Tylenol 14 times more than ibuprofen? Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
Just flakes, huh? A little old-fashioned, don't you think? It's too simple. I mean, I know you're going for that good old days thing, but all this makes me think of is the Depression. Now, wait a minute. This doesn't taste old-fashioned. It's good. I like this simple. I like it a lot.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Taste them again for the first time.
You know, if you drink a lot of fruit juice...
And apparently you do.
That's my point. Sunsweet prune juice makes a really delicious change of pace from these other juices.
You mean there are people who still haven't tried Sunsweet prune juice?
Hard to believe with my charisma.
Campbell's heard your healthy requests.
Low fat.
Less salt.
But lots of taste.
Here's our answer. New Campbell's Healthy Request ready-to-serve soups. All the great taste you want without some things you don't. New Campbell's Healthy Request. Good. And healthy.
Morning breath.
As soon as I have my coffee, it's all gone.
Whether you admit it or not, it's a problem.
Okay, I have morning breath, but it doesn't bother anyone.
Don't be so sure.
Mine's not so bad.
Morning breath's not as bad as you think. It's worse. So get Scope. Its 2 powerful ingredients kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Was my morning breath really that bad?
There's no denying morning breath, so save your breath with Scope.
What's this? Can it be Dad dressing the kids, playing chauffeur, cooking while Mom works? Yep, and he's not alone. House Husbands on the CBS Evening News tomorrow.
The people of CBS News. Dan Rather.
Connie Chung.
Mike Wallace.
Ed Bradley.
Leslie Stahl.
And Charles Gerald. Experience.
CBS News.
This is CBS.